back in '86, I became a grad student and was a graduate assistant. I was fortunate to be assigned to the business school's computer center. I worked for Professor Richard Mondadori, who was a great mentor, and he allowed me to explore. And as a school, started teaching professionals, executives, managers from outside the university, programs such as Lotus 123, Multimate, and DOS, I was fortunate to be able to teach some of those courses. During that time, many of the executives that came in for classes asked, how could we bring this education back to our business? And that's where I seized the opportunity to create a consulting business and start offering those types of education. So as I started providing consulting outside of the business school, I have to really thank so many people at Seton Hall, such as Professor Mondadori, Dean Tango, Doreen Tango, Jack Hampton, who was the dean of the business school at the time. They really allowed me, they enabled me to do that. They put their arms around me. They really encouraged me to go out and pursue business opportunities such as I was doing. And without their support, I would not have been able to start this business. First of all, to have a vision, have a passion for something, and then willing to be vulnerable, willing to take risk, knowing that you could possibly fail in that endeavor. To me, the biggest one for a budding entrepreneur or a new entrepreneur, somebody thinking about starting a business, is to really understand the market. We all have great ideas, and we begin to pursue those ideas, but data might suggest it's not a good business. Macro data, market data, data that says, look at it objectively, and maybe there's really not a market for what you're about to introduce or launch. My affiliation with Seton Hall started many years ago. My dad went to the prep, student at the prep, and then also at Seton Hall University. So I, as a child, visited many pirate games and spent a lot of time on campus. I was fortunate to come here as a student. And Seton Hall, as I mentioned earlier, did so much for me. They really enabled me. They encouraged me to start a business. They supported it. They didn't look down upon it. They embraced it. They said, go out, kid, try this and see if you can be successful. So I remember very clearly what that was like. I remember the support that I got from faculty and administration. And my good fortune now is the ability to serve the university as a regent, in many capacities, so that the students, the current student body of today, can benefit from the same thing. When you have an opportunity to give back or serve, I think you should take it. I think you should look for opportunities to help others, specifically with Somerset Hills. A very close friend of mine called one day when his child was 2 years old and recently diagnosed with autism. When you hear that, you say, how can I help? And that's how that started. It was a simple phone call, and I attempted to help. Ultimately, I became president of the board, and we did some wonderful things at Somerset Hills. It's pretty easy. Parents, mom and dad, and wife, Helen. Early on, my dad was from Italy, came over at 7 years old. With nothing, and I watched how his parents and then ultimately my dad became very successful in his own business and took lots of risks when we were very young. And my mom, through her support of all that and in support of the kids. And then my wife, Helen, who has just been there for me at every point. When we had everything on the table, all the assets in the business, never once did she say stop or don't, or it was all how can I help and how can I support the growth. Very, very positive. think students need to be exposed to what, is an entrepreneur. So I think it's not only class work that describes it, but it's having true entrepreneurs coming in and explaining the process of how to start a business, how to manage through tough times, how to raise capital, the challenges of making a decision whether to launch a product or not, or a service or a business or not. I guess it's exposure to true experiences of the entrepreneur. It's going out into the field. It's touching and feeling what entrepreneurship is. Not everyone wants to be an entrepreneur. Not everyone has the DNA or desire to be an entrepreneur. They don't want to take that risk, and that's fine. But for those who do, I think we have a great program, one that's getting better every year, great leadership that provides opportunities for these individuals interested in entrepreneurship to learn. My advice would be go for it. Absolutely go for it. Don't hesitate. Don't think twice. If you've got a desire to be entrepreneurial, then get involved either in your own business, find people to help support and mentor your business idea, or if you don't have one, then engage with a growth stage, early stage business that is figuring things out. Maybe it's a small company of 5 people or 10 or 50 that has a great idea and has recently received some funding, and they're trying to bring something to market, a product or a service to market. I think it's a great way to engage. Even if you don't have your own idea, join an early stage business, and you'll learn so much about how to become an entrepreneur and what's important about being successful as an entrepreneur.